Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Roman Reigns has been left on his own in WWE since War Games, as the Usos are now fighting their own battles, and Solo Sikoa is having issues within his own family. Reigns is looking at the possibility that he could be screwed by his own family at WrestleMania if Paul Heyman turns against him, which could spark a new hunt for Bloodline members. If Roman Reigns was to reform the Bloodline, several WWE names are up to the job. Whilst it appears to be a long shot, Tamina Snuka is a member of the NOI family and could be brought back to WWE by Roman Reigns. She was integral in helping the Bloodline backstage when they first came together, but hasn't been seen on screen for several years. If Reigns were to create a new bloodline, he'd decide to add a female to ensure that they have all bases covered, and would be able to choose between Tamina, Nia Jax, and Naomi. Lance NOI has finally been recruited by WWE and is currently part of NXT. This is the same way that Solo Sikoa debuted before he was called up to join the family, and Reigns could once again decide to recruit from NXT and bring Lance up to the main roster to be part of his new stable. Lance has been a big supporter of Reigns, and if he brings him up to SmackDown, then he would owe the tribal chief, and it would make him a loyal supporter. Jacob Fatu is set to do some big things in WWE after being brought in by Solo Sikoa. Fatu has already proved that he now does his own thing and is no longer loyal to Solo Sikoa. And as the old saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Perhaps if Fatu is now against Solo, he could be persuaded to work with Roman Reigns, and the two men could make a whole new family and be unstoppable in WWE. Solo Sikoa did have the backing of his family at one point, but his bloodline has been ripped apart in recent weeks. If he and Fatu collide at WrestleMania, and he comes up short, it could be Solo returning to Reigns with his tail between his legs. Sikoa owes a lot to Reigns, and the two men could find common ground again if the Usos are busy with their own things and are unable to help Reigns in his next endeavor. In the world of professional wrestling, rivalries define legacies, create drama, and elevate performers to unparalleled heights. One of the most captivating and ongoing rivalries in WWE has been that of Roman Reigns and his competitors. As the tribal chief, Roman Reigns has dominated WWE for years, holding the Universal Championship with an iron fist while controlling the storyline of his reign. However, there's an intriguing scenario that could radically alter the landscape of the company: Roman Reigns aligning with his biggest rival. In this creative reimagining, we explore the possibility of Roman Reigns shifting allegiances, forming a new faction that transcends all previous alliances, and recruiting 4 other Samoan stars to create a new version of the Bloodline. This faction, made up of his greatest adversaries from the Samoan dynasty, could reshape the WWE universe and establish a level of dominance that the company has never seen before. The tribal chief's struggle and evolution. Roman Reigns' rise to prominence as the tribal chief began in 2020 when he returned to WWE at SummerSlam and turned heel, cementing his place as one of the most dominant figures in professional wrestling. Reigns' storyline revolved around his relationship with his family, particularly with his cousin, Uso. Over time, the dynamic expanded to include Jimmy Uso, Paul Heyman, and other key figures, all reinforcing Reigns' role as the head of the Samoan family. For years, Roman Reigns has been portrayed as the ultimate authority in the WWE. His charisma, in-ring skills, and undeniable presence have made him one of the most polarizing figures in WWE history. But despite his overwhelming dominance, there's always been the looming question of whether Roman Reigns could remain in control forever. His hold on the title, and by extension his leadership of the Bloodline, has brought him immense power, but with great power often comes great resistance. This brings us to the hypothetical scenario of Roman Reigns aligning with his biggest rivals. WWE thrives on the idea of defection, and with the right circumstances, Roman Reigns could see the potential in joining forces with the very stars who have long sought to dethrone him. In the context of his Samoan heritage, there's a deeper layer of family pride and history that could be at play. What if Roman Reigns were to recruit the very stars that have challenged him the most, forging a new bloodline, an unstoppable Samoan faction that could dominate WWE for years to come? The first rival, Sami Zayn. Roman Reigns' rivalry with Sami Zayn is one of the most entertaining and emotionally charged feuds of recent years. Sami Zayn, once a loyal member of the Bloodline, was an integral part of the faction before his eventual betrayal and ousting. His journey from being honorary use to being humiliated and cast aside by Reigns was one of the most dramatic arcs in WWE's modern era. Zayn's character transformation, from a comedic sidekick to a determined, disillusioned individual seeking redemption, has resonated deeply with WWE fans. Zayn, despite his history with the Bloodline, would be a valuable ally for Reigns if the two were to reconcile. As someone who has been on the outside looking in, Zayn understands the politics of power and how WWE operates. His cunning mind and strategic thinking could complement Roman Reigns' raw power and dominance. Imagine a scenario where Sami Zayn, feeling disrespected by his treatment within the faction, recognizes the potential of a greater alliance with Roman. Perhaps after a major feud with the likes of Kevin Owens or another adversary, Zayn finds himself in need of a new direction. Rejoining Roman Reigns would be a way for him to reclaim his spot at the top of WWE, but this time with a much more calculated approach. Together, Roman and Sami could blend Reigns' brute strength with Zayn's psychological warfare, creating a faction that operates both inside and outside the ring. The second rival, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. No discussion of Samoan wrestling heritage is complete without mentioning The Rock. The Rock is arguably one of the most famous WWE superstars in history and a cornerstone of the industry's success during the Attitude Era. However, Roman Reigns' history with The Rock is complicated. As the two most prominent Samoan wrestlers in WWE, their familial connection is undeniable, but their storylines have largely focused on the notion of Roman Reigns wanting to prove himself as the true head of the Samoan dynasty. At WrestleMania 39, rumors of a dream match between Roman Reigns and The Rock were circulating, but it never materialized. However, the idea of The Rock returning to WWE is always on the horizon. What if, instead of a one-on-one feud, The Rock's return marked the beginning of a powerful alliance? The Rock could return to WWE as a surprise ally of Roman Reigns, not just as a family member, but as a symbol of respect and unity within the Samoan heritage. The Rock, recognizing Roman's power and leadership, would join forces with him and the rest of the Samoan stars, creating a faction of unparalleled strength. The Rock's charisma, star power, and in-ring skills would elevate the new bloodline to an even higher level, making it a group that transcends just the wrestling ring. A faction with mainstream appeal, ready to dominate both WWE and beyond. The third rival, Umaga's legacy in Solo Sikoa. The Samoan heritage in WWE is rich with history, and the legacy of Umaga, one of the most feared Samoan wrestlers of all time, looms large over the current generation of stars. Umaga's brutal in-ring style and his persona as a destructive force have made him a cult figure in wrestling, and the idea of his legacy continuing through his nephew, Solo Sikoa, is a powerful one. Solo Sikoa, currently an active member of the Bloodline, has already proven himself to be a tough, no-nonsense performer. However, his loyalty to Roman Reigns could be tested if Reigns begins to build a new faction that involves more than just family. What if, rather than remaining in Roman's shadow, Solo decided to embrace the more brutal and chaotic aspects of his heritage? Solo could begin to question whether he is being held back by his loyalty to Roman, considering the role his family's legacy plays in WWE. Reigns, sensing that Solo has the potential to be the true enforcer of the new bloodline, could offer him the chance to take on a more pivotal role within the faction. By recruiting Solo Sikoa, Roman could add a layer of unpredictability and aggression to the faction, making it a force that combines family loyalty with a sense of danger. In this new bloodline, Solo could embody the spirit of his late uncle Umaga, using his brute strength to decimate opponents. His relationship with Reigns would evolve, and instead of being a mere enforcer, he could become the cornerstone of the faction's destruction. The fourth rival, Tamina Snuka. Tamina, the daughter of WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Superfly Snuka, has long been an underrated performer in WWE. Her Samoan heritage is a key part of her identity, and she has been a consistent presence in WWE for many years. However, despite her impressive skills and physical presence, Tamina has often been overlooked in favor of other stars, particularly when it comes to family storylines. Roman Reigns could recognize Tamina's underutilized potential and bring her into the fold, creating an unstoppable force of male and female Samoan wrestlers. By aligning with Tamina, Reigns would not only solidify the family bond within the new bloodline, but he would also create a more inclusive faction. Tamina's no-nonsense, powerhouse style would make her a perfect counterpart to the chaos that Roman Reigns and the others bring to the table. Tamina's inclusion would also add a layer of depth to the faction, as she could take on a leadership role among the women's division, asserting dominance over the female competitors in WWE. Her fierce, aggressive nature would give the bloodline a well-rounded dynamic that spans across both male and female competitors, and she would be a powerful asset in reclaiming control over WWE's divisions. The new bloodline, dominating WWE. With Roman Reigns at the helm, this new iteration of the bloodline would be an unstoppable force that would not only dominate WWE, but change the landscape of the company entirely. The faction would be built around the Samoan legacy of strength, power, and loyalty. Reigns' charisma and leadership would be complemented by the diverse talents of Sami Zayn's cunning, the Rock's star power, Solo Sikoa's brute force, and Tamina's fierce aggression. This new faction would seek to conquer WWE on all fronts, not just by winning titles but by destroying anyone who stood in their way. They would reassert the Samoan family's dominance in WWE, with Roman as the undisputed tribal chief, leading a new era of unrivaled supremacy. This faction could also be incredibly flexible, allowing for various storylines and rivalries to develop within WWE. The Rock, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, and Tamina could all play significant roles in their own right, but together, they would be an unbreakable unit, a force that could never be defeated. Conclusion: Roman Reigns aligning with his biggest rivals to form a new bloodline is a concept that blends intrigue, power, and family legacy. By recruiting Sami Zayn, The Rock, Solo Sikoa, and Tamina, Reigns could create a faction that not only dominates WWE, but redefines what it means to be part of the Samoan dynasty. This new bloodline would combine strength, charisma, and strategy to forge a new era of dominance that would be remembered for years to come. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.